Hey guys, Cold here. Welcome back to Raid. We're gonna go through two epics today that I found while upgrading my champions for the Cursed City for Cintranos, and I want to see if you guys find interest in those epics as well, because I think they were underrated, at least one of them. And when I upgraded them, because I had to do some specific stages for the last rotation, I thought, oh my god, how did I not upgrade them much earlier? Of course, well, when you don't have the need to do it, you don't have the need to upgrade them, well, you just put them in the vault, especially if you have many legendaries and other champions to use. But when things get rough and you gotta use specific champions, then, well, you gotta see what your vault has, right? So that's what I did, and let's get started with the first epic in the showcase. I think this one will actually be one that players have already known. He's very good, very strong epic as a tank. And let me just go over and find Rockbreaker. I know guys, you're gonna go in the comments and say, how can you not have this champion already maxed out? Well, the time was not there. I didn't need him for anything in the game. So there we go, Rockbreaker. I do think I have another one maxed out. I actually maxed out two of them to beat stage 18 of the last rotation. It was very difficult, but I did beat it with this dude. Rockbreaker, such an amazing champion. I tried different sets on him, tried the frost set, I tried the stun set, and he worked both with both sets very well. Let me show you why he did so well. So he has this specific skill here, which applies a provoke on all enemies. Sounds simple, but it's a very strong thing to have in any situation where you apply provoke on enemies. When you place them, there's no chance for a weak hit because you're not attacking enemies, so you can use him in any of the stages of your progression journey. Okay, so you can definitely have that. Places a counter attack buff on this champion. This is where it becomes key. If you want to use like a stun set on him, he becomes an additional pain in the butt for your opponent, because, well, you're stunning them, you're counter attacking and stunning them, but it's not a requirement. It's more so for the much more difficult content such is Cintranos, right? So that is what is big for him. He also has a defense aura for arena, and he also has this passive right here. Look at this, 25% chance to decrease damage inflicted on this champion by 50%. That is huge. That's an additional damage mitigation he has just through passive, which is quite good because you max it out to 50% with books, and he becomes even crazier in terms of damage mitigation. I just love this as part of his kit. You can actually use him as a champion to lock out enemies in the arena, especially when you're not facing that many polymorphs at early game. Later on, when you apply debuffs, you're facing the polymorph, so you're kind of a bit in trouble. But yeah, attacks one enemy, increases champion's defense 4% each time the skill is used, so he boosts up eventually his defense by 20%, which is very strong as well. And then in terms of blessings, okay, what I did for him was go full defense. This is specifically for very hard content such as Cintranos, where you're getting hit by out of turn attacks or multi-hit attacks. So that is what happens here. You just reduce the damage you take from those multi-hit attacks. It definitely helps you out also to get that extra bit of HP on defense. In terms of being an epic and how useful that can be, there's many other blessings that you can do, but I've found faultless defense very strong. There's also this one, chance to block, freeze, provoke, and true fear when an enemy tries to place them on you. This is very strong. Cruelty is also good if you're looking for that additional defense down, but that is very, very, very specific, and there's other alternative champions that can use that. And then we have this one here, Indomitable Spirit, for the stun, sleep, and fear, which boosts up your defense. Okay, so that's in terms of his gearing and skills. So gearing, as I said, frost set works very well on him, stun set works well on him, any other defensive set works well on him, speed can work well on him, but you do need accuracy. Accuracy is key, and if you're looking to do any difficult content in the game, about 300 is what you need. 320, 330, 350, 380. That is for the more difficult stages as you progress through. So 380 is, I would say, to be generally safe for Doom Tower, and for Cintranos you might even need like 400 or so. But for now, I went with 370 or so, and I was totally fine. And then masteries, I just simply went with a little bit of support and defense. But if you want to go a little bit heavier in terms of also using sets such as the frost set or the stun set, you go with this fearsome presence, and you just take advantage of that, and it's you know, extra 5% chance to apply your stun or your freeze through the sets that you have. Because his provoke is 100%, you don't need it from the get-go, or you just go Eagle Eye to get additional accuracy if you need it very much so. So let's go do a very quick showcase of this guy, because we have another one, which is the one I found most exciting. Although on paper he doesn't look that exciting, I found it through my testing. So let's go in the dungeon. I'll just show you like a quick you know, example of what you would be doing. Let's just go with this simple setup. We are also on stage 20, where we have a magic affinity against us. So as I said before, you'll be taking the hits regardless on 20 because you're weak affinity. But also the provoke, it's going to help. It's going to direct the hits to yourself. And also this skill specifically will help you just survive longer. And we'll have a look on how this works in a situation where you want everybody to be attacking you. So there we go, some bit of AoE. There's the provoke now, and we'll have a look at, you know, the damage that we'll be taking by the enemies eventually. Look at that, the provoke is just so strong. They're hitting us for like 2,000, 1,000. It's nothing. It's nothing. You get hit and it feels like nothing, okay? I should have put this dude here, the Blade Master, because he's just killing everything at the moment. And we're not seeing control. Let's see here without the provoke. It's actually going to be interesting because he's still going to get attacked because he is weak affinity. Maybe I should have gone like a higher difficulty. Look at that. With defense down, we get hit for 4,000, 6,000. He's such a huge tank. That passive is what makes him so special. And unfortunately, he falls off when you go to a boss stage because you cannot provoke really. There's some areas where you can provoke, and that's gonna be, well, the Hydra, where you can use a champion that can place a provoke. It's on a 3-turn cooldown though, so you'll have to do like a manual maybe usage for him when you're doing your provokes in the Hydra. But I still think that him being such a solid tank that can also just counterattack, it works very well to your advantage. But it feels weird to use a champion just for a provoke for Hydra purposes. So look at that, we barely get hit. He's just a big tank soaking up the damage. You can even go Guardian set on him. That's what I find so interesting about this champion. The Guardian set also helps through an ally protect, you know, having a smaller ally protect. And you can farm that set through the Doom Tower. So it's pretty easy to gear him up. It's very simple and very easy to gear him up and make him as strong as you can be. And that's what really made me think, okay, this dude is a fantastic tank. I should always have some gear on him to throw around, but unfortunately he won't find usage for myself on my account in any area other than Cintrano. So I wouldn't say go out of your way to upgrade him if you're already good with some places in the game. But if Cintranos is something that you're thinking of, you know, pushing, then yes, he'll find a place definitely for at least one of the rotations. And some of the stages throughout, you'll find that, oh, okay, might as well use the Rockbreaker. And with just masteries and good gear, he becomes better and more useful for just overall progression through Cintranos. So that's it in terms of the Rockbreaker. I want to show you guys the other epic that I've went through. And this guy, I was just looking for damage, really. I was looking for damage, and he was just staring me right there. I thought, okay, looks interesting. He only has one AoE attack. I might as well use it. I wonder if we're gonna survive this by the boss. We did survive it with the Blade Master. Just want to take him out. Yeah, there we go. Let me just show you what I mean and who I mean that you should be maybe trying out to use. All right, he's gonna help you with the Shadowkin. Let's go over to the one and only Masamoto. All right, this guy. I don't know if this was a surprise to you guys or not. His multiplier is on the lower end. Okay, let me see again the multiplier. I think his A2 multiplier is a 4.1 and his A1 is a 1.5. I know it sounds very weak, but in reality it's not that weak, especially when you're looking for damage through any place possible, and especially if you are going to be using a defensive based damage dealer, and that's going to be Masamoto. Okay, defensive based damage dealer. Have him with a lethal set, have him with good gear. Not exactly the gear I used when I was pushing Cintranos. I had a little bit higher defense, but look at that speed, 200 speed, 240 crit damage with 5.4k defense. You're doing well for yourself, okay? And look at this skill. Attacks all enemies, very simple. 50% chance to place a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. That is where he becomes even more, you know, good. If you want to give him some accuracy, he'll be applying decreased attack on all enemies short cooldown and also be doing damage. Very useful. A1 has a chance to steal a random buff. You can even use it in the magic keep for the potions. If it's being so annoying in terms of the buffs, you can use that guy there, but it's going to be weak affinity. And then we also have a very interesting A3. Increased defense, always good. Feels Terminator by 15%. Very weak kit on paper, right? Very weak kit on paper, but when you give him Helm Smasher, okay, when you give him the defense masters, I know 99% of you guys will not do this. You just see, you know, a little bit of, you know, roughness coming out, but you'll see on how good he can actually be eventually. So let's go and have a look at him. We're on stage 21 this time. Things become a little bit more difficult on the dungeons, but it's not really a showcase of a team or something. This is just this guy, which I found very, very cool, Masamoto, and he's also going to be useful for Shadowkin, at least for myself, for just making the runs a little bit more comfortable for the faction wars. Although I finished 21, I finished everything of the faction wars, I still think that having a solid nuker is always good to have in mind, that I throw him in there. I know I have good gear on him already, so I might as well do it. So let's go in there and see his damage. We're not going to have a defense down or anything, just going to have you know, our defense up that we apply ourselves. Look at this. We boom, we apply it ourselves, we boost everybody up, we have additional boost, and now we'll see on the damage he does just without a defense down, which is honestly its requirement for pushing 21 on normal and higher and on hard. So let's just have a look at his damage. I think he's gonna do like maybe 50k, maybe less actually, now that I think of it, but let's see. Look at that, 50k. But this is like, imagine this is a tank support defensive champion hitting these high defensive targets right here, right? So if we apply a defense down and weaken, that damage is just gonna ramp up to almost, I want to say double, but it's not exactly double. It's 60% defense, it's 25% on weaken, so it's not exactly double. So let's go in there. We need the defense down, so we buff up. I could have used the defense up champion, but we went with this guy, and now see the difference in damage that you can apply with any nuker you have. Look at this. Boom, look at that, 120k, almost wiped out the whole wave. And this is a support that will be boosting your Terminator, stealing buffs, and applying decreased attack on enemies. For dungeons, you need like 200 accuracy, so accuracy is not really a requirement after a while for him. But if you're trying to push higher things such as Cintranos, Doom Tower, as I said, with Rockbreaker before, you know, you gotta push your accuracy even higher. So you might end up losing out a little bit of accuracy. And for Arena, you can even use him in there, but I wouldn't really recommend going with such a low multiplier Arena champion, and especially depends where you are in the game. You're not gonna see much usefulness out of that dude. And look at the teams we have against us. Not a single, you know, normal team that we can fight. Maybe this one. All right. So let's see. Let's remove this one. Let's put in Masamoto. And just go and see some numbers in the arena. Although we won't have a defense down, we'll have a defense up from CV. So we lock them out. Try to remove the buffs. There we go. Can we sleep that dude just in case? Then Masamoto will go for the nuke. I don't know. Might not be able to kill these two, which are the supports, but actually almost kill the whole team. That's better than I thought. That is much better than I thought. I mean, I expected this to not go so well. Very big damage, and with no defense down, it's so much more than I thought. And defense really could have gone a little bit higher in terms of burst potential. Let's go in there and have a look at Masamoto again. And oh, look at that. Stone Skin. He's not an arena champion by no way. No way an arena champion. I would say more so as support than anything else, but the fact that he's defensive based is what I like. You know, it's an additional champion to have in mind. Look at that, 80k. We killed the Arbiter. There's no revive coming through. I think that was a weak hit there, and then this guy died, and then the Stone Skin was removed, right? Or did she get a turn? Might have been that she got a turn. The Stone Skin, I doubt that it was removed. So here should wipe them out, and there we go, 60k. 80k, very, very strong. And that was basically it, my experience with these two epics. I've leveled up way more champions than 2. I just thought this might be like an introductory video in one of this as a series that maybe I want to do, like the champions I max out for Cintranos for you guys to see. Maybe you'll have them, so you have them in mind for the future if you're pushing. But Cintranos is really very end game. So yeah, Rockbreaker and Masamoto, 2 very strong epics that I found just honestly on accident, because I wouldn't be leveling them up and you know, masteries on Masamoto. I would have never done this if it wasn't a requirement for Cintranos and the good gear on him as well. Especially refresh like this can come to such a clutch situation when you get a refresh to your nuke and you do 2 nukes in a row basically with your turns, and it just saves the day after many repeats. But you know, the deal, Cintranos is very unique. It's like secret rooms on Doom Tower, you know, times 10 in terms of difficulty and the rarity of the champions that you need. So that's it, guys, for today. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.